Alrighty, y'all. This is just a quick video to show you how to insulate, or how I insulate around the gaps of a sliding glass door. The goal is you want to fill these gaps, these voids, with something. So you can use this insulating foam or this type. But here's a caveat about that stuff. There's two. If you're going to use the insulating foam, either one, make sure you get the insulating foam that is used for doors and windows. This would not be the right type. I'm just showing you an example here. If you get this type, it will expand the door. It will distort the frame of the door. This, because there's too much pressure. That foam expands. The type you get for doors and windows is called minimal expanding foam. That's the type you want if you're going to use this stuff. Same goes for this little guy over here, but I'm not going to use these. And the reason I'm not going to use them is the foam can overexpand, and then you have to, and it typically does, you have to remove it, and you remove it with a razor blade or a putty knife or something, but that's one reason. And if you ever want to remove the sliding glass door and replace it, or just remove it, it's a lot of work to get this stuff off. I don't care for it. So what do I use? You don't have to spend a lot of money, y'all. Paper towels. This is foam, insulating foam for a sill plate. That's a sill plate, y'all, with the sliding glass door or window rests on. Sill plate. I really like this stuff. You can use what's called backer rod. That's this stuff. Different sizes. This happens to be 1/2 inch backer rod. And this is 3/8 backer rod. I also have a bunch of insulation, various weather stripping. So I might use that. Now I will point out, you see how spongy that is? That would be a good insulating weather stripping to put in there. Because with insulation, you don't want to be extreme and squish it down. Once you squish down weather stripping insulation, it loses its ability to insulate. You don't want to do that. Just like in the walls over here. If you were to remove this sheetrock, which you all see I have a lot of work to do, and replace it and wanted to put in insulation bats between the studs, you don't want to press those down, compress them, because they lose their insulative value. They need to have an air gap. If you guys think about it, if you say you're cold and you put layers of clothing on that are really tight, you're not going to be as warm as if you put layers of clothing on that are loose, because it retains the heat of your body. So anyway, it's just an example, but here, don't squish it down. Squish it down is not good. So the way I would use these things, because I cannot hold this camera and do it at the same time, I'll just demonstrate and show you guys. I have gaps, various size gaps along here. If you all see that, those will be easy to fill because you just stuff stuff in until it's full. I put up this curtain, try to block the light for you guys. But up here it gets more narrow. Up at the top, I've got a large gap. One of the things I would use up here is the backer rod. That's 3/8 inch backer rod. The 1/2 inch will fit in there, but it'll squish it down too much, so I wouldn't use that. I also have some of that insulating foam for the sill plates. I really like that. Really like that. And I'll show you how I would put it in just a minute. I also have some paper towels, or a paper towel. So over here, you see, hopefully the gap is very narrow. Very narrow. I've already put some paper towels in here and hold that shim up. And it gets a little wider as we go down, right? So the gaps or voids are of various widths. And then here, you want to put something in here too. Then as you go down, there you have it. It narrows at the bottom. So I will be putting paper towels, insulating, sill plate foam in there or something. Now, When I installed this sliding glass door, my sister and I installed it, I use what's called Vulkem, V-U-L-K-E-M 116. I love it. It's a polyurethane, it's a sealant, I love it. I put it around the exterior of this opening before I put it in. There is no air and there is no cold coming in that sliding glass door. Vulkem for exterior use. You cannot use it on the interior. Don't do that. I guess it flashes off some chemicals that aren't good for you, so I wouldn't do that. But Vulkem is just really hardy. It's a wonderful sealant. You can see a little bit of it peeking out right there. Love this stuff. Remains flexible and it will adhere to wood very well versus silicone does not adhere to the bare wood well. Anyway, so that's an aside. But so y'all know from the name of the channel, and probably maybe if you watched other videos, I am very frugal. There's no reason, in my opinion, for you to go out and spend money on this foam, and I will assure you I did not buy it new. See, $2. I'm cheap, and this I would have gotten at the garage sale or restore also. There's no reason for it, y'all. If you want to, have at it. But if you do, minimal expanding foam. That's the key, or you will distort your frame of the sliding glass door. So, what would I prefer? I love this stuff. I love backer rod too. I really like this as well. So I'm going to use a series of what I have here to insulate around the gaps. And I'll show you just briefly how to do it. You just take like a 5-in-1 tool, another flat tool, and push it in, right? You just push it in. You don't want to bunch it together too much because again, you want that gap, you want that insulative value. You don't want to squish it down to nothing. Over here, compress it too much is what I'm trying to say. Over here, you just take this and lightly put that in, right? I'd put a little bit more in, put it to the back. You do not want to put it in where it extends out past the frame, right there. If you do, when you go to put your trim on, you're going to have a lot of work removing it. Over here, the backer rod, same thing. You just push it in, that's all. Just push it in, push it along there. That's kind of it. I don't think you guys need to see me do it. You're not dum-dums. Y'all are smart because you're watching somebody else teach you how to do this or show you what they do. Save yourself some money. So again, push it in, push it in. See like that? That's a great seal right there, y'all. That is a great seal right there. All right, so use whatever you have. I wouldn't buy anything expensive. It simply is not necessary. All right, that's all I got, y'all. I hope it helps. And happy DIYing. See you next time.